I'll tell this real quick, and that is I had a vet in a trial, Vietnam vet, and I had an expert who was a Marine. And I really struggled with whether to bring up the fact that he was a Marine because I thought it would look like I was pandering to the vet. And it really didn't have a whole lot to do with anything. And I struggled with it the night before, and I called the expert and I said, I'm not going to bring up that you're a Marine because there's a guy on there who's a vet. It means a lot to him to be a vet. He talks about it all the time. And if I march you up there and talk about your Marine history, which has nothing to do with this case, it's going to look to the other jurors and to him like I'm trying to get his vote. I'm not going to ask you about it. So it didn't matter because the vet knows the vet. They know each other by looking at them. So they're sitting there and my expert testified. And I had to get it recross him, and my back was to the jury, which I rarely do, but because of the way I was setting, my back was to the jury at least a little bit when I finished, and I turned around to go sit down, and the one vet in the jury, as my guy's getting up, yelled really loud, "Oorah," really loud, and I jumped. But I thought, well, we know where he said. We know where he stands. It was really funny. And so you just have to look for that sort of thing. Those are two obvious things that occurred. But you know, if you talk to people about what they think about things, you will read who they are. And people just don't try to read it. They want an answer they're looking for, and then they don't want them. But they need to, in my opinion, what we need to do more is figure out who these people are and make sure they're fair.
Is that one of your superpowers in being so successful?
Yeah. That's probably the only thing I can do. I can say that I have as a superpower.
Well, relating to people, reading them, and that background in psychology of juries?
That's exactly what did it. I mean, the background in psychology is exactly what taught me. Well, actually, I think it was counseling. I think when I did counseling, and so many times you have to fill in the blanks, and so I think that's for sure what has helped me fill in the blanks with jurors. You know, you may see somebody come in there and they be maybe dressed with long curly hair and blue eyeshadow and crazy nails and have a skirt down to their ankles and look very hippie-ish. But if their dad was an accountant, they're going to be conservative. You know what I mean? You can't look at somebody and draw conclusions about them. You have to talk to them. You have to get into their head.